You know, there are some places that feel so familiar, you think you've got them all figured out. But a lot of the time, those are the very places with the most incredible stories hiding just below the surface. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a town you might only know from a single line in a song, Blackburn, Lancashire.
Yep, for most of the world, that's Blackburn, a line in a Beatles song, which by the way was inspired by a totally mundane newspaper article about potholes. It just paints this picture of a gritty, kind of gray, unremarkable northern town. And honestly, it's a stereotype that has really stuck for decades.
But what if I told you that stereotype doesn't even begin to scratch the surface? What if the real story of this town is this sprawling epic, full of ancient gods worshipped by Roman soldiers, a folktale so bizarre it ends with a vampire vigil in Peru, and a direct, personal thank you note from President Abraham Lincoln himself? Yeah, let's get into the real Blackbird.
Okay, so to find the real Blackburn, we've got to look past all those smokestacks from the industrial age. Because long, long before the first factory was ever even thought of, this place had a history stretching back millennia.
And this right here just completely reframes the town's origins. We're not starting with factories, we're starting with Bronze Age burials. Then there's a key Roman road running right through it. A Christian place of worship was set up here way back in 596 AD, and by 1251, it was already a major market town. We're talking centuries before cotton was king.
And if you're wondering just how deep those ancient roots go, get this. In the 17th century, a stone was found here dedicating a temple not to Jupiter or Mars, but to Serapis, a Greco-Egyptian god. It pretty much proves that Roman soldiers stationed here brought their own cosmopolitan beliefs with them, creating this unique religious hub right in the heart of what would become a mill town. Just wild.
All right, so now let's jump forward to the era Blackburn is famous for. But let's see it not just as some local story about industry, but as this massive global phenomenon, with this one Lancashire town right at the very center of it all.
100,000. Just let that number sink in. That's how many power looms were clattering away in Blackburn at its absolute peak. It wasn't just a weaving town, it was the weaving capital of the entire world. This one town was literally clothing the globe.
But being that connected to the world came at a huge human cost, and it led to one of history's most remarkable acts of solidarity. See, when the American Civil War cut off the cotton supply, Blackburn's workers faced mass starvation, and yet they chose to support the Union's anti-slavery cause. They chose their principles over their own survival. This act was so powerful that it prompted Abraham Lincoln to personally write a letter thanking them for their sublime Christian heroism, a letter from the White House to the mill workers of Blackburn.
And that global reach just kept going, shaping world events in ways you just wouldn't expect. In 1931, Mahatma Gandhi himself actually visited the town to meet the workers who were being directly impacted by his boycott of British goods. And it wasn't just political, it was technological too. A weaver from Japan came and trained in Blackburn, then took local looms back home with him, helping to kickstart Japan's entire modern cotton industry.
Okay, so we've had ancient history and global industry, but every town has its secrets, right? Its strange little stories. So now we dive into the tales that defy all the categories, the really weird and wonderful stuff hidden in Blackburn's past.
Okay, this is genuinely one of the most incredible bits of folklore you'll ever hear. It all starts in Blackburn in 1913. A woman named Sarah Ellen Roberts is accused of witchcraft, and as she's dying, she supposedly vows to return in 80 years. Her husband can't get her buried in consecrated ground in England, so he takes her body all the way to Pisco, Peru. Now fast forward exactly 80 years to 1993. The legend explodes in Peru. We're talking hundreds of people gathering at her grave with vampire kits, stakes, garlic, the whole shebang, because they were genuinely afraid she was going to rise from the dead. A little local legend from Blackburn sparked a massive media event on another continent.
So, let's go from the completely supernatural to the cutting edge of science. In 1948, after a tragic murder, the police in Blackburn took on this mammoth task. They decided to fingerprint over 40,000 men across the entire town.
And I mean, this wasn't just some big local police effort. This was the first mass fingerprinting operation in British history. It was a pioneering moment in forensics that set a precedent for criminal investigations all over the world. Another completely unexpected first for this town.
And the town wasn't a stranger to radical action either. In 1914, an anonymous suffragette, who became known as the Blackburn Bomber, actually detonated a cannon in a public park.
The explosion shook the whole town, and this fiery message was left at the scene, a pretty powerful protest against the government's treatment of women.
So when you start to put all these different pieces together, the ancient, the industrial, the global, and the just plain bizarre, that old, familiar black and white picture of Blackburn just kind of dissolves, doesn't it? A completely new portrait starts to come into focus.
It's so much more than just a mill town. It's a place of incredible contradictions. It's a Roman outpost with a temple to an Egyptian god, and it's the weaving capital of the world. It's a hotbed for radical politics, and it's the home of a vampire legend with fans in Peru. It's a pioneer in forensic science, and, as any football fan will tell you, it's the place where local boy Jack Walker funded one of the most unbelievable fairy tale Premier League victories in history.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway. The story of Blackburn isn't just about Blackburn. It's a reminder that just beneath the surface of the ordinary places we think we know, there are often these extraordinary, hidden histories. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many hidden worlds, how many untold stories are just waiting to be discovered in the places we pass through every single day?